Dumb and Dumber. Lando and Danny Rick was probably Dumb and Dumber. Since it's related to cars, it's probably Paul Walker, Vin Diesel. Obviously watched Fast and Furious growing up. I don't know who would be who, because we're both not exactly jacked. I am now forever an F1 meme. Hi, I'm Oscar Piastri, and this is Vibe Check with Cosmopolitan UK. Yes, my sense of humor is pretty dry. Who makes me laugh? I mean, a lot of people. My mum is very funny, my dad as well. I think with friends, they always make you laugh. Kevin Hart says some funny stuff. James Acaster, he also says some hilarious stuff. I mean, there's heaps of other people I'm missing out here, but that's who comes to my mind. My most memed reaction has to be when the jetpack, there was someone using a jetpack in Austria last year, and he fell out of the sky because one of his rockets ran out of fuel. And of course it panned straight to me, so I did one of them, and I am now forever an F1 meme. I wouldn't say they're like at the forefront of my mind about the memes. It was more that I wanted to like show that I was a bit concerned for the jetpack man, but I was hoping that he was going to be okay. I felt like it wasn't really appropriate to laugh until we saw that he was okay. Also in the pit lane, I did one with like crazy eyes. That actually was quite delayed to my radio. I actually saw myself on the big screen just with the camera on me, and qualifying was basically done. We were not really doing anything. My eyes weren't actually a reaction to anything. It was just I saw myself on TV and thought I would look into the camera. I mean, maybe kind of like an ouch. Do your worst with memeing that. I honestly have no idea who would be playing us for. Someone that's pretty sarcastic and dry as me. Someone that's very excitable as Zach. Someone that's very serious for Andrea. And for Lando, a bit of a mix of everything. It's not a very recent meme that's my favorite, but Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, when they're racing each other as kids in go-karts, the incident, I think that one has to go down as one of the all-time greats. I mean, it's a classic. Dumb and Dumber. No, I think we're both reasonably intelligent people, I think. I feel like Lando and Danny Rick was probably Dumb and Dumber. I can very much see the vibes. And the best one I could think of, since it's related to cars, is probably Paul Walker, Vin Diesel. I don't know who would be who, because we're both not exactly jacked like Vin Diesel. It's the word in it, just tagging it on to the end of everything. For me, that was very alien when I first came to the UK. It still is very alien. Admittedly, I feel like it's a certain demographic that probably use that a lot. It's not part of my vocabulary, but it was certainly an eye-opening experience amongst a lot of other slang. It was a very special moment to be on top of the podium in Hungary. I mean, without getting too philosophical about it, I mean, it's a long journey to get to F1. It's a long journey to get to the top of F1. It was just a massively, I mean, I was very happy firstly, but a massively proud moment as well, because I know all the effort that's gone into it, not just from myself, but from the whole team around me, and, you know, that includes my family, friends, you know, people that have helped me along the way. So kind of felt like it wasn't just for me up on the podium, it was for everyone, but hopefully it's the first time of many. The champagne does sting a lot. It's worth it, don't get me wrong, but it hurts. In F1, we're pretty prepared because we have like fresh stuff ready to go. So when we go to the press conference afterwards, we have changed, we're not still sticky with champagne. Unless your physio's forgotten it, then you are. The worst though is your hair and your face, because that just gets drenched and you obviously can't just put on a new set of hair. Yeah, you kind of end up smelling like champagne for the rest of the day, and if you don't have a chance to have a shower before you have to fly back home, that's pretty rough and very rough for the people sitting near you. It's not a very fun fact, but fact about F1 teams and F1 trophies. I think for pretty much all the teams, they get to keep the trophies. They are kept very safe, actually just behind the camera basically here at McLaren. We have very safe, secure, purpose-built trophy cabinets that are very full, which is a good sign. If we want a trophy, we need to get a replica made, so it's not the real one, but it's as good as the real one. And you always get the memories with you, so that is what really counts. Trophy display, I mean, I think at an F1 team, very, very, very sensible, you know. A lot of hard work goes into it for a lot of people, so fair enough if you want to show off the trophies. I think even at home, if you want to show off your trophies, that's fine. I probably wouldn't do it like in my living room to be like the centerpiece of your house, but I don't think there's anything wrong with showing off your trophies. I mean, you got to store them somewhere, and it feels a bit rude to just let them collect dust and not have them appreciated. So I think have them out on display and look at them. It wasn't particularly glamorous after Budapest. I had a flight back to Monaco that got delayed by about 3.5 hours and got some fast food whilst I was waiting. So I enjoyed a nice burger and chips and nuggets. Then flew back eventually to a different airport to where I was supposed to, played Monopoly on the plane and got home at 5 a.m. So big night, not in the right sense probably, but yeah, got some fast food, played some Monopoly, and my girlfriend was waiting for me at home, so that was nice at least. I would say I am a pretty calm and mature person, I hope. I think you kind of naturally get it when you move from one side of the world to the other as a kid. I think it's kind of in me, kind of with my life experiences as well. Immature hobby or trait. I don't know if this counts as immature, but I just really like sleeping in. I don't think that's immature, I think that's just natural human nature. So if that classes as immature, then I guess I'm guilty of that. I mean, it's nice to be watching silly season unfold instead of being part of it, that's for sure. I don't know if anyone will ever outdo my entrance into Formula One. I hope for their sake they don't. I don't know, this silly season's been very good though. Been a lot of big moves, Lewis to Ferrari, Carlos to Williams, who's going to fill the Mercedes seat. There's been a lot of movement, so it's been very interesting to watch and very satisfying to not be a part of it. The most awkward cool-down room, I mean, I've not been in that many, but the most awkward one was after Spa, where George won and Lewis finished second, I finished third on the road, and then of course George got disqualified. It was tense. You know, Lewis drove a great race. In a lot of circumstances should have won that race pretty comfortably. So I understood exactly how he was feeling at that point. I could very much sense that Lewis did not want to be, he wasn't in a chatty mood. So I just watched and looked at the highlights in silence and kept to myself. We had Jimmy Butler in the garage, very funny man. Vin Diesel was probably the one that I spoke to the most. That was a very cool moment. I obviously watched Fast and Furious growing up, so that was pretty cool. My girlfriend was very excited about Paris Hilton, and unfortunately she wasn't there to meet her. I like the very occasional night out. I'm more a kind of relaxed dinner with good food kind of guy. I mean, Danny Rick's always good fun. Lando's quite good fun, and if you want to evolve towards a night out, solid starting lineup already. I'd take Alex Albon as well. I would take Logan Sargent. That would be my 4 people to dinner. Having relationships with your fellow colleagues on track is an interesting one, of course, because you are in a very unique situation where there's basically 20 people in the world that know what you're experiencing and know what your life is like, basically. But also they're your direct competition. So it's an interesting mix, I would say. I think, we all have a lot of respect for each other on the grid because we know, how hard it is to get to F1. We know what a lot of us have given up to get there and the sacrifices along the way. And I mean, there's some people you just naturally get on better than others, but at the end of the day, you are all there to try and beat each other. So it's a very, very interesting mix. I think having true friends on the grid is pretty difficult because you are trying to beat each other. I think a lot of us probably have friends with racing drivers that we're not actually racing against anymore. It's a fine balance. I just think they're a waste of time. I don't bother spending my time on horoscopes and stars and all of that stuff. Sorry to be a downer. It's just not for me. I don't think I'm really based on what my star sign is and when I was born in the year. I think I'm just me. For me, that's a very easy answer. Australian food, better quality, more variety. We've got a lot of different cultures in Australia. So we have barbecues, obviously, that's very stereotypical, but we have really good Italian food, really good Asian food, and all kinds of different Asian food. You've got Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, you name it, we've got it. We've got everything in Australia and we do it really well. So Australia wins. I don't know what people get wrong about me. I think a lot of people got me wrong when I came into F1. I think they saw my tweet announcing my entrance to Formula 1 or my non-entrance to F1 and thought I was some really ruthless, cold guy. Traffic and people that don't drive fast enough on the road. I'm not saying they need to go over the speed limit, but please do very close to the speed limit. It's just frustrating for everyone. When someone calls you down for food because dinner's ready and dinner is not ready. I feel like that's a universal pet peeve. But traffic and people driving too slowly on the road, that will do it. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.